Hi, I'm Dave Booth.
And I'm Clayton Seams.
And we're here testing a couple of electric vehicles, which is a little strange because I drive mostly supercars. And what do you drive again?
Mostly cars that come with a choke.
So we're a little out of place, but we'll put on our consumer hats and pretend that we care about the environment.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we got two cars here. We're sitting in the brand new Chevrolet Bolt. And what is our contestant?
The other one is the new Hyundai Kona EV. The EV version, you can also buy this car with a gasoline engine.
True. So whereas the Bolt is electric only.
Yeah.
And these cars, they pretty much square up in terms of price. We're both looking at mid 40s, late 40s, depending on price. Both are front wheel drive. Both are 5-door hatchbacks. What else do they have in common?
They both have about 200 horsepower. I think the Kona has 201 and this has 200. And the batteries are about the same size. The Kona has 64 kilowatt hours. The Bolt has 60 kilowatt hours.
Well, tell you what, to find out where they're different, let's hit the road and see how they drive.
So, I think the one thing that both of us can agree on is that the Bolt feels a little zippier than the Kona.
It definitely does have a, dare I say, fun driving experience for an electric car. It's got a lot of shove, and it's very linear in the way it works. I like the powertrain, both accelerating and decelerating, nice and smooth.
If you look on the dashboard here of the Bolt, it says that it is consuming 26 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The Bolt is using more kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I would say about 20%.
And it's like golf, a lower number is better.
Yeah, it's definitely the better. The Kona is probably going to have about 50 to 60 kilometers greater range, even though the batteries are approximately the same size.
And this is true. However, if you were to test them in warmer weather, you might have better results because you would spend less energy on heating the cabin and so on. And that cabin, by the way, has excellent visibility, lots of natural light, and I think this really cool, funky plastic pattern on the doors and dashboard.
You know, I understand why you like this little plastic bit. It matches the pajama tops you like to think are shirts.
It's kind of fitting, eh?
Yeah, it is. It is. I actually agree with you.
So one thing our viewers might have noticed over speed bumps like this one is that the ride is not what I would call Rolls-Royce smooth.
The suspension is definitely stiffer than the Konas.
You can tell they made a distinct, different infotainment system only for the Bolt, and I can't say I'm a wholehearted fan of it. It's kind of an odd layout. Things aren't exactly where you were looking for them.
It does one thing very well, though. It changes channels very well. You can actually pop it 10 times and it actually goes back 10 channels.
It is impressive.
I like that. The rest of it, I agree with you.
You've agreed with me twice in 10 minutes. Are you losing your edge?
Okay, let's get into the Kona.
Let's see how the Kona does. So, first thing I noticed in this car, the moment you set out, you can hear the motors a bit. You can hear that?
I notice it at below 25 kilometers and above 120. In between, I don't notice it.
It's not obtrusive, but you do hear it. But one of the things I like about the Kona is its similarity to a regular Kona. You know, this is all standard Kona inside.
Well, I'm certainly in my stylistic happy place in this one, as opposed to the Funkasaurus that is the Bolt EV. I like the leather, I like the monochromatic black, I like the traditional buttonry. The one thing I do not like in this traditional layout, they have buttons by the touchscreen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, while I like physical buttons, these ones in certain lighting conditions are very, very difficult to read.
It's kind of a black on gray.
I couldn't read any of the buttonry, so I had to remember, the radio's on top. We like the powertrain, again, other than the consumption of the Bolt a little bit better. I like the ride, though, a lot better in this.
This is bordering on luxurious.
Yes, it is.
Very nice ride.
You know, I mean, you could put this kind of a ride in a small Audi and nobody would complain. It's actually very, very good. And in fact, that is probably the Kona's biggest advantage overall compared to the Bolt, is that it just feels like a more luxurious, more grown-up car.
Exactly.
Both its ride, its interior, pretty much everything. The cargo space in back of the Kona is actually larger, and it's got a lower loading floor.
And one place in which I think the Kona excels versus the Bolt are the seats.
Yeah, well, for one thing, these seats are electrically adjustable. The Bolts are manually adjustable,
Yep.
and the seat back isn't quite as comfortable on the Bolt. No siree, Bob.
Well, we've got a little bit of seat time in both of them. What do you say we pull it in next to the Bolt and decide a winner?
Works for me.
Let's conclude.
Conclude.
We shall conclude. I'll pull
We
it.
might even deduce.
So, we got to pick a winner between these two.
If I was actually doing something completely objectively, like giving points on a 10-point must system,
Yeah.
I think they'd be within a couple of points of each
I was
other.
going to say it would be super close.
More importantly is who's buying it. I think an older clientele will find more happiness in the Kona.
Totally agree.
I think a younger clientele will find the funky Bolt a little more, the peppier Bolt a little more pleasing.
Exactly. So, but if we had to pick an overall, commit to an overall winner, you draw the cards.
Oh God, I'll pick the Kona just because I like it, but it's nothing more than that.
They're both super close, but I would say by a smidge, I would say the Kona is the better all-rounder.
You made me choose one, that's why I would choose the Kona.
So the winner, by a watt, is the Hyundai Kona.
I'm David Booth.
And I'm Clayton Seams for Driving.ca.